Welcome to this practice prompt video for the bass guitar. This one we're prompting to practice about chords and chord progressions and thinking about chord progressions. This stems from practicing major scales and understanding how we shift through positions on the bass guitar to play in keys, to play scales, to be comfortable on the bass. That's our main concern because the bass is such a large, cumbersome instrument. The neck is so long and the frets are so far apart that there's only so much that we can do physically. But there are ways around it, and that's what we are thinking about here. So, chord progressions, we want to think about these in a couple different ways. Here's this little handout that I have. So we can see there's three shapes here that we're working with. And we want to think about the root note. The root note of the scale, number one. We want to think about the root note of the scale. What's the lowest place that we can play that root note on our instrument? And let's take the key of F sharp. So F sharp, we have it on the second fret of the E string. That's the lowest place we can play it. So with our root note there on fret 2 of the E string, what are the ways that we can play a chord progression when we're in this kind of uncomfortable position down here, all the way on the lowest part of the bass? The second fret is where our root note is. If we understand how our bass is tuned in perfect fourths. E and A are a perfect fourth apart, and F and B flat on the first fret are a perfect fourth apart, and F sharp and B are a perfect fourth apart on the second fret. G and C on the third fret are a perfect fourth apart. That's alarm bells because we know that a perfect fourth, 5 half steps, is the distance from do to fa in solfege, from the first chord of a major scale to the fourth note of the major scale. That is a perfect fourth. So anywhere where we're playing our root note on any string, an easy way to find our 4 chord is going to be the exact same fret on the next string up. So here in the key of F sharp, our fa, our 4, is B. F sharp and B. Let me get all my other fingers out of the way. This is not how you play, just so you can see. There's B on the second fret of on the third string, the A string, and there's F sharp on the second fret of the E string, the fourth string. So where does that put 5? Well, 5 is right after 4, and 5 in the major scale is a whole step. It's 2 half steps above 4. That's 2 frets higher. So we have 1, and then 4 right above it on the same fret, and then 5 right there, easily accessible with our pinky. So there's 1, 4, and 5 taken care of. Now 6 is the kind of problem child, especially when we're playing in a low position down here. Because with our root note, we're probably going to play it with our first finger, which means 6 is in the key of F sharp is D sharp minor. That's up here on the first fret of the D string, right? D sharp, the first fret up here. So that kind of puts us in an awkward position when our 6th note is way back here and our hand is here. So we want to think about this in a similar way that we thought about it in the major scale. And coming up with shapes, we want to shift up from 5 here, or with our pinky. So F sharp, B, C sharp, 5, and then D sharp minor, 6. I'm using my pinky to play it right here, and it's also on the 6th fret by coincidence. So there's 1, F sharp with my first finger, B, 4 with my first finger, 5, C sharp with my pinky, and 6, I'm going to shift up to it with my pinky still, right here on the 6th fret. And my hand has not left, this really comfortable shape right here. I'm not stretching out to get 1 finger per fret. not what we want to do, especially on the low positions of the bass. Now, one more note to think about on the very top one right here is what we're looking at, is we have an octave of our 1, and that is on the same fret on the next string up above 5. So not only do we have, whoops, wrong key, there we go, C sharp, and then F sharp is now right here on the same fret. There's C sharp and F sharp right above it, same fret on the next string. So F sharp, 1, in other words, 1 and 4 are right on top of each other. Well, 4 is on top of 1, and then 1 is on top of 5. And then 6 we shift up to get it. And how you shift depends on what the chord progression is. So let's say our chord progression is 1, 6, 5, 4. That kind of puts us in a position because we have to shift right away from 1 to 6, and then we shift back for 5, and then 4. We're already in position for it. Or if we're starting on the octave up, then we're already in that position where 6 is right here, and then 5, and then 4. So 1, 6, 5, 4, or 1, 6, 5, 4, like that. Okay, the next shape takes that 6, the one in the middle there. This shape takes the 6 and puts it in the 1 finger per fret method. So whenever we're thinking 1 finger per fret, I'm usually thinking 7th fret or higher, but 5th fret or higher is generally a good spot to be in for 1 finger per fret on the bass. So let's pick our key C major right here, 8th fret, and our root note is still on the E string. That's the commonality between these two. Our root note is on the E string, the lowest string. So I've got 4 right above it, same fret, and then 5, 1 finger per fret, so it's 2 frets away, but I've also got this finger in the middle on that fret that we're not using. That's sharp 4 or flat 5. It's Fi or Se in solfege, but that's our tritone right there. We don't want to touch that note. But 1, 4, 5, and now we can reach back and get 6 right there without shifting, without any discomfort, without any problems or anything like that. So the difference is, where is 6? Instead of shifting up to get 6 like we might like that for a lower position, we have another option here. We can go here and stay in the same position. And, again, whether you use the shifting or the 1 finger per fret like that is going to depend on the chord progression. It's going to depend on what order the chords are coming in and all that. And again, we have the octave right here, and from this point, then it's a great place to jump into pentatonic scales and learning how to do fills and riffs on the bass in appropriate spots. Of course, we don't really do that too much in bass guitar in a worship setting, but it's possible, and it's fun, which is the most important part. Okay, so the last shape to think about is the one on the bottom right there. This is with the root on the A string, and again, this is kind of the opposite of that first one where we had to shift up to get to our 6. Like that, we shift up to get our 6. This is kind of the opposite, where we have to shift down to get our 4 chord. So let's say we're in the key of C, but we're playing down here with our root note C on the A string, 3rd fret. So 1 and 5 is right below it on the same fret, and then 6 is right above 5, a whole step up. And now 4, we have to shift down to go get it. So that's the position that we're put in. there's always a little bit of shifting going on the bass. And yeah, this kind of method can be used anywhere in any position. Say if we're playing in the key of G and it's a quiet part of the song, so we're playing an octave higher note on the A string. That's the 10th fret right here. 5 is right below it. 6 is right above 5. A whole step up, and then we shift down to get C, which is our 4 in the key of G. And that's really comfortable. That's really easy. That's really simple.